Rocket Coaches Corner brought to you by Rose Hill General and Cosmetic Dentistry. It's another season of sports here at Rose Hill High School. And we're going to kick off our Coaches Corner segment with head football coach Lee Weber. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Coach.
We'll get right to it. You had a jamboree last Friday. What are some observations that you saw from your team and getting out and playing other people besides yourself?
Well, I think the jamboree is a great experience because for the first time ever we can go full speed against somebody else where the result isn't the goal, it's how we can improve and see what we need to fix. I know some people were for and against it, and who are we going to play? We wanted to bring two pretty good teams in here just so we could make the mistakes and have the bad things happen that might happen typically in the first game. We could see those and fix them before it actually matters for us because, with our playoff structure, like every game matters. It's like the BCS. Every game matters because we're ranked after each win and loss. So.
What were some particular positives that you took away from your performance on Friday?
I thought we came back better. We started really poorly. I think the kids would agree to that. We started really poorly and kind of slowing down, but towards the end we did really well. I know we finished on a high note. I think Kobe had a pick against Andover Central to kind of finish off our red zone period. And our guys stepped up and started to realize, this is the speed we need to play at. Because that's hard to do in practice when you're going against each other. You don't know how fast what game speed is, especially where we're coming from. We've got a lot of improvement to make, and so we needed to see somebody play at a high rate of speed. And like Andover Central was 2 points away from beating the team that went to the state championship last year. So they've got a good team.
Clearwater, they beat us last year. They're a team on the rise. They have a young coaching staff, young players. But it's the first game of the season, so a lot can happen in those games. What are some things that you look for Clearwater doing on Friday?
I think they're going to definitely have Tanner Cash carry and touch the ball a lot. He's probably going to be one of the best players on the field. They're good. They started off really slow last year. I think the two teams that played last year will be vastly different than the two teams we'll see this Friday. Clearwater's much improved. I think we're much improved. So I think it'll still be that same competitive game. It's just who's made the most strides. And, I would be hard-pressed to say anybody's made more strides than we have in the offseason, just with the work that our guys have done. We've had a couple players transfer in that are going to help us out a lot. And, I think we're vastly improved. If they're slightly improved, they finished the year on a high note and went to the playoffs and played at Chapman. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
Both teams are going to make mistakes. It's
sure.
Probably, first games are always one of those who wants to lose it, who doesn't want to lose
right,
it.
yeah.
Who makes the least mistakes. You're still trying to figure out how to win at that point. So,
you talked about the strides that your team has made this offseason, and it shows in the numbers that you have out as well. Much more depth this year than you had last year. I know it's obvious that that's a plus for you guys, but talk about what the pluses specifically are by having all this depth on your roster now.
Now we can go, we really have number ones and then what we call 1.5s. Mm-hmm. So we have guys that are really would be number ones that are maybe the backup at their position, but last year would have probably started for us or would start for us, if a guy's a little dinged up or has an injury or competing for a starting job. I mean, we have two quarterbacks that fought all year until Monday, and they still both will play. We have five tailbacks that all see time in practice, so it gives us a little bit more fresh legs. Our guys are able to practice harder against each other. When we go offense versus defense, the first offense versus a defense, we're many times playing a lot of the guys who are playing our first defense. Our offensive line against our first defense, our scout offensive line, is typically 3 or 4 guys that play on Friday nights, and so we get a really good look in practice. I think the matchups are good. The speed at which we have to play with is where we need to improve from the jamboree. But we increased our roster from, I think last year we finished with 49, and I think as of today I have another guy that's talking about coming out. We take him as for all of you out there that would like to still play football, we'll take you.
Right.
I think we're up to 69, so we're up 20. We only lost 10 seniors last year, I think.
You spoke a little bit about the offensive line, and I've only been here for 4 years, but I know Coach Hill's been here for 8 or 9 years, and he said this is the biggest offensive line we've had since 2011 when he first got here. at the high school level, it always seems like if you have a solid line, both offense and defense, you can do a lot more things with your schemes. Have you seen that much of a difference this year from last year and what you guys are able to do offensively and defensively?
Oh, yeah. We've made it a little simpler. One, God bless genetics. We have some tall, large people. God gave them talents. And so, we have those guys, and those guys have worked to be very much stronger. They were all sophomores and played a lot last year, most of them. We have a couple seniors on that offensive line, but a lot of the bulk of guys were sophomores and now juniors, and they've worked really hard in the weight room. So a testament, one, to their parents for producing large young men, two, to them for working very hard, and then I think a testament to our two line coaches last year, Coach Byers and Coach Weibert, who I think did a good job of setting some fundamentals and setting us on the right track. And, those two coaches have moved on to some other opportunities. And now we have Coach Roger Foltz and Coach Blaze Foltz. So they bring a little bit different to the table, still working on fundamentals. But, if you know the Foltzes, they bring a little bit of nasty to the table. And so I think that combination has been a great kind of mixture recipe for our guys to really improve. It's one of the biggest offensive lines I've ever had. But we still have to produce. We still position blocked a little bit. We still didn't get to the second level, so it's going to be a work. We're not where we need to be by any means, but like Bill Parcells said, if I'm cooking dinner, I like to buy the groceries. Well, we have some pretty good groceries right now, so we'll see what kind of dinner we can whip up.
Awesome. Last question for you. I'm not going to have you tell me what a win total looks like to make a successful season or where you want to go with your season, but in your mind, what are some improvements you want to see that would quantify maybe a fundamental improvement to your season?
Well, I think that if we can run the football consistently, I hate to put numbers on football, but golly, if we can get to 100 yards rushing each game, that would be a vast improvement because we had 250 the whole last year.
Right.
I mean, some of that's taken away with sacks and things that we gave up. But if we can top the century mark consistently in the run game, and last year, if I was betting man, I'd say we might have led the state in turnovers. If we can eliminate turnovers, if we can cut it down if we can survive one a game, if we can cut it down to one turnover a game, we can run the ball consistently, have long drives, and keep our defense fresh, and because we'll be able to play some guys one way, so those guys can be fresh and give our defense a better chance to stop people instead of always having them out there on the field because we're going 3 and out. Those will be some wins. We play 5 of the first 8 teams we play will be ranked in the top 10 in their class, including I think we played 2 or 3 number 2s, and so to say we're going to go out there and we're ready to play Andale right now and it's going to be we're favored or it's going to be tight. We're not there yet. Now, luckily, we got a couple games to get there. I think the 2 teams we play in the beginning are a good stepping stone. Not that they're teams that we're going to run over, but they're teams that will be competitive and then increase our competitiveness till we get to an Andale and a McPherson. I'm not far removed from McPherson can be competed with. I've played them before in the past, and so we know those things. We just got to believe in ourselves, and we'll be okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck on Friday. Hopefully we'll get a win to start the season off there.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
This has been head coach Lee Weber, Rocket Football. Tune in next Wednesday as Tristan Speech will sit down with head volleyball coach Cherith Mock. You've been watching the Rocket Coaches Corner brought to you by Rose Hill General and Cosmetic Dentistry.
At Rose Hill General and Cosmetic Dentistry, their passion is people. Here, Dr. Mark and Dr. Nick provide advanced dental solutions tailored to your needs and goals. They're open 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Monday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Tuesday and Wednesday, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, and 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Friday. Schedule an appointment online at rosehilldental.com or by calling 316-776-2144. You can find them at 106 East Yeager Street, Rose Hill, Kansas. Rose Hill Dental is committed to providing their patients with high-quality care by ensuring they receive individual personal attention. Their goal is to build long-lasting personal and professional relationships bound by trust, confidence, and character.